Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
I just had sex, and it felt so good.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, presented by Darling Way, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, hello, all you sexy holes and poles. We have got another episode all about swinging, and today we are recording in an actual swingers club. In fact, there's this huge round bed just to the left of me, which is pretty entertaining, I think. It's right in Aaron's eye line. We are at Colette's Club in Houston, Texas with John and Jackie, the owners of Colette's Clubs. Thank you. We're so glad to be here. And this is a follow-up. Our last episode was all about John and Jackie and their journey to the swinging lifestyle. And today we want to focus on what it's like to be in a swingers club. Tina and Aaron, this is your first times in a club, so I know y'all have lots of questions. I've been here once or twice, even though I'm not technically a swinger. I just appreciate a sexy lifestyle. So I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius from sexyedschool.com. So glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's start talking swingers clubs.
So how many clubs do you guys own, and where are they located? We just started that.
So currently we have 4 clubs. New Orleans, it's been there the longest of all, coming up on 21 years, I think. And then Dallas is heading to its 10th anniversary. Houston has been here almost 5 years, and Austin is our newest club. It's been open almost 3 years.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, and for anybody who wants, while you're listening, if you want to go check out their clubs, you can go to ColetteClubs.com. COLETTES. No S. Say that for him, John.
ColetteClubs.com. ColetteClubs.com.
There also is a link in the description, so
Perfect.
I mean,
yeah,
we're not going to make people try to type things in. Just scroll down through the notes and tap on it.
Okay, that's cool. So, but okay, so because I think it's really interesting. So when there are sexy pictures on all the walls, it's so cool. The furniture is like sort of modern, contemporary. It's high end. I don't know about what y'all were thinking, but I was picturing swingers clubs with like old ratty 70s kind of yucky shag carpeting and yucky stuff.
There are those clubs out there.
Oh yeah, there are. That's true. Colette's Club, not. Thank goodness. So.
No, I would say like when you walk in here, obviously it's daylight now, but it looks like a club. I mean, it has the feel of a club. You know, we're in like a little upstairs area that I've been told can be rented out, but again, overlooking like a dance floor. There's a lot of couches. There's disco balls, and that's kind of what you first see when you walk in. You know, you see this more clubby vibe, and then we just got the full tour, so I'll let you guys maybe explain what you guys tell the people who you give tours to, which are generally new clientele. What do you tell them, and what do you show them?
Yeah, what can they expect when they walk in the door? Start from there.
Yeah, so first of all, it's a private club. And so if anyone wants to come out to one of our clubs, they need to fill out an application form online at our website that we just talked about. And that really helps us and our team ascertain if they're truly curious about or in some type of a sexually open lifestyle. Swinger, poly, open. They could just be bisexual or gay, looking for other people to play with. But they need to be in some type of relationship model that's not a monogamous relationship, and they're going to come here and judge people.
Well,
or not have like a jealous, wife or husband show up and be like, "Whoa, what the fuck? You didn't tell me about that kind of thing."
That's it too. Yes. Yeah.
But I will say, actually, so I've been sending people to Colette's for years now, and I have clients who actually are very much heteronormative and in a monogamous relationship. But they don't come here to judge. They come here as voyeurs because the sexy atmosphere, being able to get all dolled up in clothes that they wouldn't be seen anywhere else in, like that turns them on like crazy. and then they go home and they have all their sexy fun in the privacy of their own home. So
Yeah, and we definitely have a lot of couples like that are just really more open-minded, and they want to be in that sexy atmosphere. They want to, the woman wants to dress sexy and not be hit on all the time by these guys in just a regular nightclub.
Right.
And you'll really find that when people come in here, they're treated with a lot of respect, and it's really a great feeling when you're in here and the club is packed and you have all these sexy people and they're dressed sexily and they're just having a great time.
Yeah, and their partners can feel them up if they want and go for it. So,
Yeah.
okay, but that's okay with you, right? So they don't have
It
to
is.
actually participate. You just don't want people coming here just to gawk and to be yucky and basically be negative.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We really, and it's not open to the public because the public might just, someone off the street might come in here and that's what they want to do, just gawk. And it's not about that. We really, our privacy here is very important to us.
Yeah, you have to bring a good energy with you, I think. Okay, so people walk in the door and then they check in downstairs.
Yeah, so once they fill out the application online, then they'll get an email back saying it was approved or disapproved. And then when they come in, they'll already be in the system via their email. And we'll pull them up, and then we'll have them sign a membership form and pay the door fee.
Okay. And so that way you keep track of who's here, what's going on. And I assume that if anybody misbehaves, they don't get to come back, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how bad they misbehaved. If someone's just had a little bit too much to drink and they're, they have a hard time not smoking in the club or something like that, we might make them leave that night. They're welcome to come back again. Just don't do that anymore.
Okay. But violations of consent and stuff, like, in other words, my clients can feel safe here because when it comes to violating people's consent, I don't think y'all tolerate that, do you?
No, we don't. And so we do have, hosts and hostesses on the floor throughout the club, and they keep an eye out for that type of thing. It's really important these days to ask for consent for anything. Is it okay if I touch your ankle? Is it okay if I, come in the room with you and hang out with you guys for a little bit? Yes or no? I mean, you really have to ask consent and hear back either the yes or no before you do anything.
Yeah.
So for like couples that want to basically just be in the atmosphere but not participate, is there a way of them like differentiating, I can speak sometimes, themselves from everybody else who's here to play? Like, is there like a special badge?
Why would they need to do that?
Just so they know that they wouldn't get, like, if it's somebody who doesn't want to be hit on or anything like that, or...
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't call it being hit on. It's just people have conversations. So if you were to come here with your wife and you just wanted to hang out, couples are going to come up to you and say, hey, what's going on? Have you been here before? But they're not going to molest you or anything like that, or molest your wife. So I feel like it's a very safe environment for people like that. But no, we don't label anyone as far as you're strictly in a monogamous relationship or not.
I think that comes from, there's some articles in different places where people have like wristbands that say this or that, or I'm up for this. And you don't do that here. It's generally, and again, I like that because you actually have to have a conversation with people to figure things out. But if you say, no, we're just here to look, that's totally cool. And people are still going to say, oh, look over there, right?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, we don't really encourage people to come in just to watch other people when it comes to having sex. If they want to come here and people watch and see the sexy atmosphere, that's one thing. But if your objective is to just come in here and watch people have sex, we're going to either revoke your membership or your membership may not be approved.
Okay, that's good to know.
And what is the like age mix? Like, is it lots of older people or younger people, or is it like a good mix of both?
One of my very favorite things about the club is the diversity. Right? You're going to have a wide range of age groups. But like with anything, you're going to probably have the least number of patrons in here that are in their early 20s, just like you're going to have the least number of people in here that are in their 70s. But you're going to have a really nice conglomeration of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, because you've got these people that they're established. Maybe the kids are old enough they can have the babysitter, or the kids have gone off to college, and so the parents have free time. Or you have the couples that they're a couple, but maybe they don't have anything restricting them from being able to go out. So that's one of the things that I love, is you just have this really fun mix of personalities and ages and likes. And so everybody gets to kind of learn something from somebody else.
I like that. Okay, so again, you walk in the door, you check in, then you get approved, and then you go into the area that's the big open club area.
Yeah, but if it's your first time here, one of our host staff is going to show you around, give you a tour of the facilities, explain rules of consent and where to buy setups for your alcohol, because it's BYOB, so people are going to bring in their own drinks, but we can provide ice and cups and cranberry juice, Coca-Cola, whatever you want to go along with it. Show where the bathrooms are, bathroom facilities, and then give them a tour through the play. When you first walk in, though, you're going to see the dance area. The DJ's going to be playing dance music all night long. Beautiful couch seating and some table seating around the club. And then in the back of the club, there are what we call play areas, and that's where you're going to find beds and things like that.
Okay, I like that. And so when you walk in, you're not assaulted by this like overt sex stuff. People aren't generally nude in the front area and things like that, right? You're just going to feel like it's a regular club just to have some time to get adjusted to being here.
For sure. When you first walk in, it's going to feel just like you're at a regular nightclub. Everyone's going to be dressed, although they'll be dressed sexually and scantily probably.
Yeah, I love all the outfits here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, all right, so Tina and Aaron, y'all got a tour. What did you think, or what struck you? What questions you have about the back area, the play places?
So, one of the first things I was wondering, there's lots of places to sit. There's lots of, beds in the back, especially. What are do you guys obviously comply with some health regulations and stuff?
Yeah, so, in all of our clubs, the health inspectors come out once a year and do inspections like they do for any other club. And normally we get somewhere between 95 and 100. We really keep a clean facility. it's clean through and through. The coolers, the bathrooms, the play areas, the dance areas.
Yeah, so you were telling us about how you change the sheets and you have an area with a shower and there's clean towels and everything. So you guys seem to, take that it's a very important thing.
Yeah, and the shower at this club is really a conversation piece.
Unbelievable.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's tiled. Yeah,
it's gorgeous, right? Don't you want to just take a shower and just hang out there with all your friends? Because I don't know, how many people can you fit in that shower?
Probably 20.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun.
Maybe more.
You could fit 20 with space in between. So I'll paint it from my experience. Like in high school, in your football locker room, you had the one big room full of tile, and then giant towers that spit out water. This has a shower head on either side, and then one rain shower head in the direct center. But there's no obstructions in the middle of the actual shower. So honestly, 20 people, you could get a good 1.5 feet between every person and get 20 people in there. If you wanted to literally pack in like you're, waiting in line for Black Friday or some shit like that, you could pack 50 into that really quick and get people butt to nut.
And what do you think about the stadium seating in the shower?
That is pretty cool too. That would make me my big worry would be that I would try to climb up there for something and I would slip because I'm just clumsy as hell to begin with. But yeah, it's really cool because I'm talking just the main area. You can fit 50 people, squished in. There's also 2 different tiers where you can, I guess, people sit, lay down. I don't know what people.
All the above.
Okay. But yeah.
Because really, it's pretty cool to just to have a shower, then basically fuck or get blown or whatever you want, play on those little seats, and then you don't have to go anywhere. You're right there. You get all clean and whatever, and then you get to go on to the next show of your own making.
That's it. And it's actually, though, probably what it's used mostly for, and this is kind of lame, photo ops. Instagram pictures. That's what people use that shower for.
So what's your policy for phones and sharing stuff on social media and everything?
Yeah, so we have areas in the main part of the club where people can take Instagram or, social media photos if they choose to, or private photos. Throughout the club, the main area, the dance area where everyone's clothed, we don't have a problem with you taking pictures there as long as there's no one in the background. We want to protect people's privacy. So if you can stand up against a wall, you want to take pictures that way with your group, that's just fine. In the play areas, no phones are allowed to even come out of your pocket, even if you're checking the time. Because it's hard for our staff back there to really police that. Is someone filming? Are they taking a picture? Are they checking their time? Are they texting somebody?
Yeah.
So no phones are allowed out in the open back there at all.
Okay.
But does that include the shower room?
It does.
Okay, so the photos are mostly like for private, like if they make a special arrangements.
Yeah, so
with
if someone
and
comes to our staff and says, "You mind if I take a photo in the shower?" The security will walk over there with you and make sure you're not taking pictures of anybody else. There's no one having sex in the background, so that would be okay. Just
how strict? Like, what is it? Like a one strike policy if somebody sees your phone out while you're in the back room, or is it like you see somebody like the light from somebody's phone? Do they come up and like more so investigate and go, "Okay, what the hell were you just doing? Okay, open your phone, show me, make sure." Kind of thing, or is it, hey, you're not supposed to have your phone out back here, get out?
Yeah, so if I'm here and my staff would do the same thing, if I saw someone pull their phone out, I would walk up and say, "Hey, sir, my name's John. I'm security here at Colette, and we don't allow phones in this back area. Please put it away." And I was just checking the time. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you have it out for. Just, please keep your phone secure while you're back here. And, I mean, it could happen multiple times. People forget, especially with a phone. It's such a normal part of our lives these days.
Yeah, it's an extension of your body now.
Yeah, so now if someone were filming, we would, take them out to the front, try and delete whatever they're filming, and then, if they'd already been warned, we would ask them to leave. If they were really being malicious, definitely revoke their membership and ask them to leave.
Before somebody would take them out back and take care of them.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We make love here, not war.
Exactly.
So, apart from the shower, there are also like individual rooms back there that you guys showed us, and then a few areas of something called a participation-only room. So a room with where you guys are famous for your round beds, so big round bed, and so what does participation only mean, and how does that differ from maybe like the smaller rooms?
Yeah, so the smaller rooms, some of them have curtains, so you can have some privacy with the curtains. Some have doors, and a lot of couples that come here, they never play with anybody else. Like Aaron, if you came out with your wife and you got a little bit turned on because of the sexy atmosphere, you can go back there and just close the door and be by yourselves. You're not doing anything with anybody, and that's very, very common. The participation-only rooms have multiple beds, like you mentioned, the round bed, which is a feature that's in all of our clubs, and that's where people maybe want to, be around other sexy couples doing things. It may be where couples are able to swap, or you see a couple back there that you really are attracted to, and you can, wander over to them and see if they, would like to play with you, and so that encourages more of that swinger lifestyle kind of play.
And something I'm really curious about is, in terms of etiquette in a swingers club, how do you say no to someone in a polite way? Like if someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I want to play with you," or you and your wife, how do you say, "We don't really want to play with you," or in a respectful way?
Yeah, I would say, "No, thank you. I'm playing with my wife right now."
Okay. So just kind of direct, honest, No.
Well, I don't know if I'm being honest or not. No, thank you. You're really not my type.
Do people ever get offended, or have people gotten offended?
For sure.
Yeah.
I think people sometimes take it personally if someone tells them no. I mean, that's human nature as well. But if someone is truly in the lifestyle, they understand there's many reasons why someone may say no. It may have nothing at all to do with you. And so you just move on.
Yeah.
And how do you know if somebody's actually just trying to talk with you versus somebody's trying to hit on you? Jackie, because Jackie, you're a beautiful woman. You're in the club. Everybody wants to talk to you, I'm sure, because you own it, because you're cool and awesome. But how do you then know if they're hitting on you?
Well,
I mean, are people more direct in this lifestyle, or is it kind of like in regular bars where you're like not quite sure what's going on? You don't want to lead them on, maybe.
It depends on the person, right? And it just depends on the personality of who you're engaging with. I mean, there's some people that they just their mode is to just start a conversation that's very generic, and then you've got other people that are going to be much more direct, like, "Oh my gosh, I really like you, and I'd really like to be with you," and so they just come right out and say it. Whereas other people, they're probably more about forming more of kind of like a relationship through communication, and then let it see where it goes from there.
So if somebody comes in here and they're new, either a single or a couple, is there something that can they feel okay just continuing conversation with people until it becomes overt that somebody's asking to play? Or is that considered, oh, you've been leading us on, you've been talking to us for 20 minutes, so we assumed you wanted to play with us? Is there any that level or no? Right, because that's what happens in bars. It's like you sit and you talk to somebody and then you're thinking it's just friendly, and some guy's like, no, I thought I've been here for 20 minutes because I thought you were gonna sleep with me.
Again, I mean, I think it depends on who you're dealing with. I mean, of course, you're going to have those people that are going to assume, oh, well, since you're talking to me for 20 minutes, then it must mean that something's going to happen. And then you have other people that are going to talk for 20 minutes, and then they're going to go talk to somebody else for 20 minutes. They're not interested at all in that. So,
how about that couple we met this weekend when we were leaving? We were walking out the door and we stopped to say hi to that couple and ask them, so how's it going tonight?
Oh, yeah.
And what happened?
It was so funny. And he didn't know he was talking to John.
He didn't know who I was.
He didn't know who John was. But what did he say? How did he say that?
He said, yeah, we're not having a very good time.
Yeah, we're not having a very good time. What about you guys? John was like, well, how come you're not having a very good time? Let me know. And it's like the wife knew who John was, and she just let her husband put his foot in his mouth. It was kind of cute, but it was really actually kind of great because they had come in and they'd found a spot, but they had just kind of stuck there. Yeah. And they were expecting people to come up to them and talk. And because people weren't coming up to them and talking, they were like, well, what? And we're like, you have to go over and say hi to somebody. There's a lot of new people here. Introduce yourself. That's the other thing that I would preface when you come to the club is don't be afraid to be a little outgoing. And now that can be hard. I mean, I know it's especially hard for me because I can come in here and I'll gravitate straight to the bar and I'll stand at the end of it. And John will be like, come on, let's get out there and meet people. I'm like, so I totally get it. I totally get that fear of putting yourself out there and then thinking you're going to be rejected. But that's another fallacy within the club because here's the thing. When you think about going into a club like this, your brain is automatically going into places that it doesn't go to when you think about going to a regular club because we think this is somehow completely different, and it can be on some levels, but in most levels it's just the same. You're just going in and you're meeting people. It's not like something weird's going to happen when you walk in. I mean, I thought that when I was first going to John's club in Dallas. I was completely freaked out because I thought I'm going to get in here and they're going to drag me to the back and there's going to be some kind of initiation thing I'm going to have to go through and I'm not going to have any say in what's going on and I don't know. And I hate to say that I was a little disappointed that none of that happened, but none of that happened. I walked in there and it was just other couples and they're like, hey, I'm Jill or I'm Joe and I've been in the lifestyle for 10 years and we've got kids. How are your kids? Our kids are in college and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh my God, we're just talking about normal freaking stuff. And I thought that wasn't going to happen somehow. I thought somehow people were going to be all up on me. But the thing is they weren't at all. But if I went to what I now consider a vanilla club, which is just a regular nightclub, they would be all up on me. Oh, yeah. The women here, super supportive, like, oh my God, you look so great. Look how cute you are in this outfit. As opposed to going to another club where they're all like, what are you wearing? Who do you think you are? What are you trying to be? Who are you trying to attack?
Well, there's more competition there.
They think it's a competition there, and here, it's all about collaboration.
It's
right?
all about collaboration, building each other up, being supportive, because you have to remember, you're in here with a group of people that the majority of them are already connected.
Yeah.
Right? They're partners. The very first time my youngest son came into this club,
How old was he?
He's 25.
Okay, we just want to make sure he wasn't that young.
Yeah, he wasn't that. No, they're all adults. He comes into the club and he's standing there. And I went over to him and I'm like, what? He's like, okay, so first of all, I'm having a hard time figuring out who belongs to who because everybody is so nice to everybody. And I was like, I love that. Yeah. I love that. And that's another thing about the club that I love so much that I think gets missed because everybody's so focused on the sexual side of what's going on. It's like we turn into high school students giggling in the corner about the fact, like, oh, look what they're doing in there. It's like, oh my God, yeah, of course this is what they're doing. They're married couples. They're adults. This is what we do.
And I love getting the giggles. I love like the blushing. I think it's just that it's fun. It's sexy should be exciting. And that's what it should be.
It shouldn't be embarrassing. It
Right.
shouldn't be any of those
Right. It
things
should
that
just
we
be-
tend to want to do.
Right. So cool. Like just people who get excited about whatever they're doing, and it's just fun and it's happy and it's energizing, hopefully.
Yeah.
And brings people together. So
Yeah.
I think okay, so oh my goodness, sorry. There were so many thoughts that went through my head that I just loved. But so the couple that you ran into the other day who wasn't having fun, I guess I could imagine that they would come here and think, oh, everybody else knows their way around. Everybody else belongs here. We don't. And they're like then waiting for someone to come and introduce themselves or whatever. And you can't do that, right? Nobody owns this place except y'all, but otherwise everybody's a guest and everybody has their own responsibility to make their experience whatever they want, right?
That's right. In their case, there was a big birthday party here that night, and so it looked like a clique of people. I mean, that's what I hear people refer to it as. Oh, they're so cliquish. Well, they're here for that person's birthday party, but they're all looking to meet new people. So if you walk up to them and say, "Hey, we're new. How you guys doing?" They're going to just be, "Hey, welcome, join us." It's really how it works here. But I think a lot of new couples don't realize that's how it works. And I also encourage them. For her to maybe get on, she loves to dance. We were watching her dance for like an hour before we met them. I'm like, get on the dance floor and dance and see what happens. She got on the dance floor and danced. About 30 minutes later, there was a group of people around her cheering her on, going up and meeting her. I mean, they met so many couples just by her being on the dance floor dancing. So you have to put yourself out there a little bit.
Yeah. I like that. And then just to be open and then not worry that to know that you can say no in any way that you want, and to know that you can talk for as long as you want, or just be honest about what you're doing and not feel like you're misleading.
Well, and that's the other thing about the club. I noticed two important aspects of being in the club. One, when I talk to a lot of the husbands, they talk about this transition that they've gone through of this kind of machismo, jealous kind of super masculine kind of mentality to being super supportive, not jealous. They want their partner to be happy. And then you have the women who have learned how to have a voice. They've learned to say, no, I like this, or no, I don't like this, and I want to wear this, and I want to feel confident about wearing it. And all the other women are supportive and are encouraging. So you have these two dynamics going on that create the best of what those people have to offer. And that happens in here. And I love that.
Yeah. And I think maybe in regular clubs you get this sort of judgment about sexy because we're just more uptight about things and everything. And here when people come, they come to terms with whatever they are sexually and how they are, or at least they're on that path. And then that takes us down to a more sort of a solid level with ourselves, I think, in terms of how we then can relate to other people on a more true, authentic level, perhaps.
Well, you don't have to be in this state of, what are you looking at? And what are you doing? And what is she doing? And you just get to be like, hey, isn't it great?
Right. Look at me. Look how cool I look.
Look how everybody loves that I'm being authentic. Where you have this massive support system, where the husband isn't trying to keep people from looking at his wife. He's twirling her around so everybody can see her. And, with this sense of pride, not only in the fact that that's his partner, but that she loves who she is. I mean, hello.
Yeah. I think one thing that surprised me the first few times I came was I talked to people, and even some of the what I thought were younger, I'm in my mid-50s now and stuff, but I'd be like, oh, how long have y'all been together? 20-something years, 25 years. I was like, how long have you been swinging? Oh, 18 of them, blah, blah, blah. I was like, holy mackerel, there are so many people that have been doing it so long. I am just shocked, and it's really kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And those are the people that I wish the media would focus on. Instead of, we're going to pick this couple out of thin air and we're going to throw them into a swingers club and then we're going to take them out and then we're going to talk to them about it. I'm like, no, talk to the couple that's been together for 20 years. How they've, and why they're still together, because as far as society's concerned, they don't stay together, but they do. We have tons of people like that.
Yeah. And there's something about watching other people have sex. I think we covered this. We've played games of like Never Have I Ever and stuff on the show, but like y'all haven't really watched other people having sex, right? Aaron and Tina.
No,
neither.
And there's something, I don't know, when you get ideas to it turns you on. And I love to see the way people jiggle or move or laugh or anything like that. It just makes you feel less alone, because so often our sexy, we just are so isolated in that.
And it's so weird. I have to tell you, like one of the first times that I ever saw it, it was in New Orleans, and there's some rooms with a one-way glass separating them. So I had the safety of being in this one room by myself, and I could see into the other room. And John was in there
just
with
let
a
me
partner.
clarify. Everybody knows that people can see, and this is not where people have glass and don't understand. This is full consent.
Yes.
You know the window's there. You know you're there because people can watch and
right,
etc.
And I could have kind of the safety, and they didn't have. I didn't have to be in the room, right? And again, this was kind of one of those first experiences. And I was sitting on the bed in that room at first, and then John and this play partner went into that room, and they were on the bed, and they were starting to do some things. And I remember I was getting kind of sweaty, right? So because I'm like, wait, what is happening? I literally got up, and so here's this glass. I'm standing, I put my back against the wall right next to the glass, like right next to the window, and I was peering around the corner watching, like I was totally sneaking. I felt like I was totally sneaking because I wasn't even sure if I was supposed to be watching. It felt so weird. But here's the thing. It's like all of a sudden, when you think about when you're with your wife, Aaron, or when you're with your partner, Tina, you're in it, right? You don't get to see how your partner's hip or leg looks, or what their back looks like, or the facial expressions, really that they're making from far away. And getting to see your partner in that, it creates, at least for me, it created massive amounts of gratitude for my partner. I'm like, oh my gosh, look how hot my partner is. Holy moly. And, look how engaged they are. Like, that's what I get to spend time with, like, all the time. It's like, I'm so glad you're my partner because I get to kiss you whenever I want. And it's that same kind of mentality, but it's about deconstructing a lot of those ideals that we have about our partner and about ownership and what that means, and instead just being able to kind of let go of some of that and just be in the moment and enjoy what our partner is doing. And what's interesting is it creates an energy, right? So it creates this positive energy. And so then when your partner's done, like when John was done, I could not wait to go into our room with John. Like, I wanted to do that too.
Oh, I love that. You wanted to claim him again, right?
Yeah, there's something, there's just, I don't know, there's some kind of beauty in it, because you get to just see your partner in a different light, from a distance.
We've talked about this on the show before, but we had like an episode on porn and, what we like, what we don't like. And I think it's really interesting how more and more these days, and especially like for me, for example, I like porn that's real and not really even porn. It's more just like people who make like sex tapes at home and put them online. Like Reddit is a great space for that, and like other places. And for me, it's taught me a lot. It's showed me how real people have sex. What do they enjoy? How do they enjoy it? Is this something that I would be into? Is this something I could try? And I think it's healthy and to see other people enjoying sex. and watching other people enjoy it or watching your partner enjoy it, and gauging how you interact with that, what you would like, what they like, and seeing that it's normal. There are lots of things that I've seen people do, in videos at home where I was like, okay, like I would try that. I would do that. I like, that looks really hot. Like I could see myself doing that, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the interesting thing about that, because all three of you have labeled yourselves as not being in the lifestyle, but if you watch porn together with your partner, I would say you are on the fringe of being in the lifestyle.
I do that, so that's interesting. I would never have thought of myself at least being on the fringe, but I definitely watch porn with my partner. So
because the thing is that in a strictly Christian or religious monogamous relationship, watching people have sex with your partner, or you and your partner watching other people have sex, that would be wrong. We're made to feel shame and guilt from doing that, but you're doing it. So that's like on the fringe of doing something a little bit different. And those are people that we try to market to get into the club, to let them know that their club exists where they're able to do those things and explore their sexuality in that way.
Well, you see from watching that the importance of learning from other people, right? I've learned some great techniques for blowjobs from one of John's past girlfriends.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to try to perfect some stuff?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, now you just, I have to just jump in here because, I have a whole new learn to love oral. Because, only 27% of women actually enjoy giving oral. And that's pretty ridiculous. And I know in the swinging lifestyle, there's a lot of oral going on. And yet I also know there's a lot of not great oral going on. So, yeah, so women, go to sexyedschool.com and I can definitely help you up your oral skills, men and women. So all sorts of classes from how to blow his mind while loving his body to the art of orally pleasuring her. So that stuff I take seriously. And I was surprised to find that swingers might have lots of experience, but they are not necessarily the greatest, because you do the same thing, right? Until you see something different or you hear something different, you keep going the same way. So,
well, my favorite thing about, when people ask about swingers, I always want to remind them that swingers are just society. I mean, you're not going to know it, but they're going to be sitting next to you anywhere.
Oh, yeah. It could be the PTA meeting. It's the dentist office. It's the lawyer's office. It's the politicians. Like, they're swingers, yes, in any and all walks of life.
Yeah.
Teachers, etc. So I think that's a good thing. But, yeah, learning. So tell everybody. So how did you learn from his ex-girlfriend? Because that's a crazy story.
It was very evident that John was enjoying what was happening. And I guess I probably fall in the category with a lot of women where I'm not super confident about my blowjob giving abilities. John always tells me it's great, but I'm always, because I can't feel it, right? Like I can't really tell. Like, I don't know if he's enjoying it or not. He says he is, but I'm not able to experience his orgasm, so I feel kind of disconnected from it. But when this friend of his was giving him a blowjob and it was very evident that John was enjoying it, I went to her later and I'm like, so what were you doing? Like, what were you doing something with your tongue or your teeth, or like what? How did, and so I just, again, without being in fear of what was happening in that moment, I just embraced it. I decided to be excited about it and see if I could learn something. And I did. And I think over the years it's gotten better and better. And I've actually kind of formed my own relationship with that part of John's body. And it's something that I really look forward to, which is so weird, because years ago I'd have been like, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I'm like on the verge of gagging, and now that's not so much happening.
Yeah, I mean, use a sports metaphor. It's like a young up-and-coming hot prospect comes up in baseball and is lighting the world on fire, and then the old veteran sees his time getting out of there and is like, most of the time they get pissed and they throw a fit and they trade me. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be around this asshole. Where the smart ones, the mature ones, go to somebody who's better than them and at something and go, how are you doing it that I'm not? Like, that goes for every walk of life. I mean, I do it in working in radio. I research, I talk to other people who do my job. I listen to how they do their jobs, and I try to go, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And it's self-scouting. I mean, you should do it for every single thing you do, whether it's cooking, whether it's, being a good husband or wife, whether it's, being a good lover, whether it's, anything. You should be able to look at yourself and go, what do I do well? What do I not do as well as somebody who's better than me? And how do I get better at what I do?
Yeah.
And that's just pouring care in. Not only, so as a partner, it's showing that you care about your partner, but also it's showing that you care about yourself, that you want to grow as a person and be better at something than you were. Like, because that's how I wake up every morning. Is like, I want to be better today than I was yesterday at anything I do, whether it's dry, whatever. I want to know I went to sleep and I did a better job today than I did yesterday. And so.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, and I would tell you, so just a random thought, because women, we don't really understand what it might feel like to receive a blowjob. If you want to understand it a little bit, take your finger and start sucking on your finger, because it's amazing how sensual that is. You'll feel the warmth of your tongue. You'll feel your tongue curl around it. You can understand the sexual, and our fingers and toes actually go in our brain. Those nerves actually go right near where our sexy sensations are. And that's why not only sucking your own finger will turn you on, it'll turn your partner on, but you can also suck their finger, and it's about as close to a blowjob as anybody can get.
Good to know.
In public. So
good to know.
Have some fun with that and experiment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while, and so even while I'm, perfecting that part of me, like willing to learn, I'm also learning to speak up about my orgasms. And I think women a lot of times really fall prey to that, like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it, it's okay, because it's going to take too long, that whole dynamic of men being a microwave and women being an oven. And we don't want to take that time to reach that orgasm. We feel like we're imposing on our partner by doing that. And so that can be another thing that can help with being in the lifestyle, and because we're not afraid to say, no, I need a little bit more time down there.
So is that okay? Like, if you're in a swinging situation, if you're here with somebody that you don't know well, is it okay to be like, no, I'm not done yet? For a woman to say, like, keep going?
I think it's more important for the woman to be honest about where she is and what it is that she wants. And I think far too often we fall into the trap of, is this how are my needs affecting somebody else instead of how are my needs affecting me?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would be afraid that if I was with somebody, because it would take me a little while, 20 minutes or something from oral, I'd be like, oh, they don't really want to be doing that. But is that, as a man, would you expect to basically give a woman what she needs to reach her orgasm?
Absolutely. I mean, I would. I think there are many men that wouldn't. But the cool thing about Colette is, if one guy gets tired of going down on you, his tongue's getting a little bit sore, there's a line of others behind him that can help you.
Oh, that's an idea.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Is like, you finish, like, if one, like, say your partner finishes and you didn't get there, like, obviously you don't want to hurt their feelings or whatever, but is it normal for people to go out and be like, okay, they didn't do the job, you're up next, kind of thing?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And then the other thing is, if Jackie doesn't feel satisfied by someone that she's been with, there's always me. And I mean, that's with any couple. You always have each other.
Yeah, you know exactly how to push her button, so she knows that, like, hey, if this didn't work, I have, that, as my wife calls,
I have
Old
a sure
Faithful.
thing. Yeah.
I like that. And then, I mean, I'm sorry, but to be graphic, do you expect her to shower or get cleaned up or anything before you're willing to finish up?
Oh, no.
Oh, I like that.
I wouldn't want her to, actually. I mean, you want to be able
see?
you want to smell what's been going on. I mean, I personally like that. Maybe some men don't, but it definitely turns me on.
Well, I like that. Yeah, take them as you find them kind of thing. And yeah, brings you into the experience. I like that.
What about toys? Can you bring toys here?
I love toys.
Okay.
Yeah, you can bring toys for sure. We encourage bringing toys.
I've never seen anybody with one here, by the way, which is interesting. And I wondered, I'm glad you asked that, Tina, because I kind of wondered and thought, oh, maybe that's not, I don't know, not done so much. But do you see them here often?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see them out here in the nightclub part.
No, but I mean, I've been back in the rooms.
Okay, yeah. So they'll normally come in with their bag of toys. They'll put them in the lockers. When they're ready to go play, they'll take them out of the lockers. And they definitely, I hear them. I've seen them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. I hadn't seen that. So
yeah.
What? Sorry. Another question. What about like BDSM and kink? How can people like express that? Or do you have any rules or like hard no's for like harder kinky stuff?
There are some hard no's with some kinky stuff. Fire, for instance, we don't allow fire play in the clubs. We have some special nights for that. So in Austin, we have a night called Shrine. It's once a month on a Sunday. It's an amazing crowd of all kinds of kink, from furries to BDSM. They'll do
latex.
Latex and what do you call the rope play?
Oh, shibari.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
they have some
amazing.
great artists that are into that, and so that club especially is a great place for it. All the clubs, it happens from time to time. The one we don't want to have happen is if someone's just right out in the middle of everything. Back there, people are trying to have more romantic sex, and there's somebody with a cracking whip or a really loud paddle.
Ooh, and a flogger, yes. My whole face lights up at these thoughts.
I see, yeah. But we're open to anything, and it's just be respectful for other people around you. That's all we ask.
Yeah, that would be like just playing loud music. I mean, there's just some settings where people are more into it and some settings where they're not. So you got to play that by ear. No, I appreciate that. Okay, any other questions?
Well, okay, so for all 4 clubs, do they all have the same schedule of like days open and hours and all that stuff?
Pretty much. There's a little bit of difference in the time that they close.
Okay.
But they're all open Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And then occasionally Sunday. We've recently started a Sunday night at all the clubs called Haven. And it's a night where bisexual people can feel really safe. Bisexual women, it's very common in the lifestyle and very accepted. And I think a lot of couples, the first place they go with that is, the guy wants to see his wife with another woman, and maybe that's the segue for him to be with another woman. I'm not exactly sure. I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
Male bisexuality, if it's going on in the club, we will definitely get a couple coming to the front desk saying, "Oh my God, there's 2 men back there going down on each other." And the staff knows to say, "Okay, is that cool? Yeah. Well, no, we don't want to see that here." Well, then don't watch.
Yeah,
because we really
I love that. Get a cookie.
Yeah,
right.
Because we accept everyone here, and we always have. But there's a lot of men that don't feel comfortable with it in the atmosphere when it's mainly couples. So we've started Haven, so men can, and women too, women that might feel uncomfortable with it can feel like they're around other like-minded people that are open or curious, bi-curious, and it's going great.
I love that. Queer as Folk was a show, I don't know how many years ago, but it was followed a group of gay male friends. It was so hot. I was just like, oh my God, watching 2 men kiss. I was so turned on. I love that show. So I might have to be here on Sunday night, because I'm all about, men being men and sexy.
Are there strictly, I'm guessing there are, gay swingers clubs, like for 2 men, or if you're 2 women?
So they have been very popular. They were underground for many years, 60s and 70s. They're called bathhouses.
Oh, yeah.
And when the AIDS epidemic came around, a lot of them closed. But many of them have reopened. A lot of times you come in, they have like gyms when you walk in, so men can work out, and then they'll have showers, and they have little they call them changing rooms. They're changing rooms with beds. So that's what I normally see, or around the country when it comes to men. I don't really see clubs like this. And so we've had some gay nights. In New Orleans, there's a big gay event called Southern Decadence.
Yeah.
And we've had some parties there during that event where it's strictly for men. And they're all amazed that there's anything like this. And they love it. But not so much like a swingers environment. More they'll go to a bathhouse.
Another question I had. You guys have obviously traveled the world. I like some of the places I would think like Amsterdam would be a place where clubs like this, like what other places in the world have you been to that have had some really great, clubs like this, or do you see this outside the US?
Absolutely. So in Europe, they're very, very common. Probably a lot of clubs really are just clubs that have places for people to play. It's so accepted there. In Barcelona, I used to go there quite often. My business partner had a place there, and there were probably 20 swingers clubs there. I mean, they were all over. Some of them were really small and intimate, just a bar with some mattresses on the floor. Other ones were more elaborate like ours, but they are definitely Italy, in Rome. I mean, there are many clubs in Rome, believe it or not. So they're very, very prevalent there. And our favorite club is in Paris. It's called La Chandelle, and it's just beautiful. It feels like you're down in the catacombs having sex, and candlelit. They require, and this wouldn't go over well here in the United States, but they require all the women to have stilettos. So if you show up in thigh-high boots, but they're not stilettos, you have to change shoes. But it's a very, very sexy atmosphere, a beautiful club.
I lived in Paris for a year, and I promise you I never heard of it. And damn, now, next time I go back, I'm definitely going to visit. And I'll get some stilettos specifically for that. It'd be awesome. So.
What?
Oh, sorry. You looked like you had a question, Aaron.
No, I do. So, I mean, obviously things have changed over the last, year and a half with COVID and everything like that. And the pandemic brought out a side of a lot of humans that made them much more germophobic, to where they would never fucking think about. They never thought about, oh, has this door handle been sanitized and shit like that. So now it's something that's prevalent in their mind at every single turn when they walk out of their house. How do you guys deal, like, for anybody who would be listening in, not even in a city where you guys have a club, but just wanting to explore, but also now has this little, I guess, germophobic conscience in the back of their mind that's like, oh God, I don't know how clean that's gonna, like, what advice would you give? Not saying, like, because this place is freaking immaculate. You've said your health reports come back spotless. But what would you say to somebody who gets worried and gets that, like, now, because even before COVID, if they were germophobic, but also, like, thinks of it and is like, oh man, like, what kind of advice would you give? Besides, get over it and check it out for yourself.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're really truly a germaphobe, you probably don't need to be going to a swingers club. What I've seen happen because of COVID, I think people stayed home. They watched a lot of videos. They were probably on Reddit watching some of the home porn. We are busier than we have ever been, and you would not think that would be the case. Do people want to wear masks? Hell no. You can't kiss with a mask on.
No.
Have you tried? It sucks.
Yeah.
I love it. So everybody faced death and decided we're past it, we're on, and now we're going to embrace sex. And
I think people that are in the lifestyle, they understand viruses and infections because they hear about STIs and they have you do have a concern and you do take precautions against that. So they're used to taking precautions against things, but I don't see anyone in here really too concerned about dancing, for instance.
Yeah.
I wonder how in a place like California or New York with like mask mandates and people restrictions, how clubs like yours even survive or like go on and do what they do.
They're breaking the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely
politicians are breaking the rules there. So
no doubt about it. So, and they're probably going to those clubs. Yeah. I mean, I saw where a club in L.A., a friend of mine has a club there, and he had opened, and they ended up getting someone narked him out, and they got shut down. During the height of COVID. But I know today they're open. I just do not believe there's any way people are wearing masks in there. In most of those places, if you're drinking, you don't have to wear a mask anyway. So all you got to do is have a drink in your hand. Which
is a great rule because the big bad COVID doesn't come out while you have beer.
No, hell no.
No, it's allergic to beer.
It's crazy. All right. Well, I have, like I said, I think this club in Houston, I think is beautiful. I know I have been to other swingers clubs. I just caution everybody to check out, like, go online, look at pictures, look at the reviews, because they're not all the same. They don't feel the same. I don't feel as safe. I don't know, like, when I go to Colette's, I know that your staff, if I tell them something's going on that's untoward, that they're going to take care of it, and that I'm literally physically going to be very safe here, even if I'm walking around stark nude. So I think that makes a difference, and I suggest that people really do check out. And I commend you and appreciate y'all creating a place that feels good and feels safe for people, even their first time. And then one of the things I want to give you a second to just chat about is because I know y'all have a VIP membership stuff going on too. So how do you guys can you tell our community about that? What are you doing to sort of engage with your community and help take care of and create a sense of belonging for your people?
So with our OpenLove101.com site, that's our site where we really educate people about our lifestyle, our relationship model, and talk about different things that you might go through in really any relationship, a monogamous relationship or an open relationship. Both of those relationships could have jealousy, and we really help people overcome those fears and how to navigate our lifestyle. Most of it has been open to everyone can see, and we engage with people. They'll write us emails and give us questions. We'll answer that way, but the volume of email over the years has gotten so it's really difficult. I say for me, really, it's Jackie to answer those questions. If I had to answer them all, I'm telling you, you would get one or two sentences. I did that one time. Remember, Jackie? I answered one, and you were like, "No, you can't answer it this way." And she ended up writing a novel. But we've started this membership only site. We call it OpenLove101 Plus, where we have a community. Everyone that's part of this community, they can engage with each other. Jackie and I are on there to help answer questions. We have other people on there as well that can help answer questions or put people in the right direction. And then we also have additional content that's not on the free side of things. So on Wednesdays, once a month, we'll have a webinar with maybe an expert in the field of sexuality or someone that we would interview. Yeah, like Beth over here.
I love it. Yes, once a month I've gotten to teach a class for your group, and it's fantastic. And the engagement and people, it's been small enough that it feels personal and yet meaningful, I think. So I think that's a fantastic thing. I'm pleased to be a part of it.
Well, we appreciate you being there, and people are really getting a lot out of it. And if you want to join that, it's at openlove101.com/members. And that's where the page is that'll tell you a little bit more about it, and you can join if you want to.
Yeah, I think everybody should, we deserve to have community, and especially if you're just kind of thinking about it and feeling a little bit nervous, I think it'd be a great way to join and to start meeting people in that sort of environment, so that then when you come in, you don't have to just have a whole room full of strangers. You can actually know, oh, we've been talking. Nice to see your face in real life. So, yeah, I recommend that.
I have a question. What is the deal with pineapples and swinging? I never understood that. What does the pineapple and the lifestyle? What does it represent?
How did you find out about it?
Actually, very funny. Talk about community. TikTok has a huge swinging community, and a lot of it shows up on my For You page sometimes, and it's positive. They talk about the lifestyle, and they're these swinger influencers. And obviously TikTok, they have some very strict guidelines on sex and everything, but they're doing a good job of keeping it, I would say educational and informative, and it's really cool. I've learned, that pineapple thing, but other stuff too about just the lifestyle in general. So
I'm not sure who came up with the idea, but it stems from Hawaii, where a pineapple is a sign of welcome. Mm-hmm. And so in our swinger community, if we put an upside down pineapple in our grocery cart or at our front door, that would indicate that we're welcoming you in another kind of way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I laugh because I would probably do that having no idea about anything. And in fact, once I think there was also a thing where it was the black rings or something.
You mean like Aaron has on right now?
Yeah, on the left hand, exactly. And I would say to somebody, "Oh, are you a swinger?" And they're looking at me going, "No, you rude bitch." And I was like, "Oh, sorry." So just, be careful. But it's fun to look for signs like upside down pineapples.
Yeah, if that was a sign, that was news to me, because this is just the ring that I wear when my metal ring, I get torn up wearing it all the time, so I just leave my metal ring for special occasions. This is my daily wedding ring.
Yeah, well, it's just for a while there were bandanas with the gay community and stuff, and you just, again, you got to be careful and shouldn't assume anything until you ask nicely.
Yeah,
politely.
All right, before we get out of here, one question, because I have a million just logistical nerdy ass questions that listeners don't want to hear just from a business standpoint, but one I want answered, because we talked about, the staff will come in and change the sheets and the beds and stuff in the back. well, I guess two-part question. How many sets of sheets do you guys have to have on hand, and how often, or like how fucking insane is the laundry bill when you're doing the books to get all these sheets cleaned up every time?
Over the years, I'm telling you, that has been the biggest challenge is how can we cut our laundry costs?
Yeah.
Because it really does get expensive. Not just sheets, but towels.
Yeah.
Because they're heavy and you can't do a lot per load.
You have to do so many in the dryer at a time.
Yeah. So definitely an issue. And the number of sheets really depends on the party, the people that are there. But there have been times in a night where we've gone through, at the Dallas Club especially, 200, 300 sheets in a night, maybe more.
How many do you have on hand then? Like, what's your inventory of sheets?
I mean,
there?
at the Dallas Club, it's high. I mean, I don't know what the number today, but there's probably 300 or 400 sheets there. Here in this club, it's not as many. I mean, I think we have a couple hundred sheets on hand here.
Well, I mean, you're not a natural entrepreneur. I would expect your next move is before you open a new club in the areas that your current clubs are in, you open up your own laundromat. And then after hours, that's when you literally just go and do everything when it closes down. That's where you're saving the money because you can roll that cost into how much you're charging customers during the day for using it.
And that
would help you on your break even.
At this location, we're in a strip center here in Houston, and right here in the strip center is a laundromat. And so we bought this big cart, and so my staff the day after they just wheel that cart over there, and we do. It's perfect. Where other ones you have to have it picked up and delivered, and that's where the costs get high.
Yeah,
that's hysterical. Good question, Aaron. Things I would never have thought about. Like, I don't even think about changing my own sheets, damn it. But
I would have never admitted that in public, but okay.
I mean, I do it.
It
takes me a while. Like, I have a housekeeper every 2 weeks to make sure that things get done. So
the hardest thing to train people in the club. This is another question we get from nerds like you, Aaron. How do they fold the fitted sheets? We don't use fitted sheets here.
I did think that, actually.
Yes, and we have to train our staff how to fold fitted sheets, and it's amazing how many staff will say, we just wad it up and put it in the closet. But we really need to make it compact so it fits nice, because you can see those things. You want it to look like Starbucks when you come in here, not like your closets.
Yeah.
I've tried to learn a million times. I've watched so many stupid YouTube videos and Snapchat videos, and this is how you do it. Fuck it. My wife has watched me just finally throw my hands up and go, you know what? Fuck it. It's going in a ball. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. That's because you don't have 300 of them, right?
Yes, I don't. I don't. Yeah. Thank God.
So, all right. Well, the one thing I want to just make sure is, I would love for you to tell us about the club in New Orleans, because I hear that is a really elegant, very cool, and beautiful place. So can you just briefly tell us about that before we sign off? I know we're going on, but... No,
it's fine. So that club, my partner and I, at the time, I lived in Tampa. We were going to open a club in New Orleans. I'd never been there. I got on this real estate site. I found that building. We flew out there the next day, and we walked through this 3-story building, and it just felt like a swingers club. It was offices. It was really strange, but it just had this. At the time, it was 4-story. The first floor was actually 2 floors because they had some really low ceiling offices in the second half of that. And we've since ripped that out and made it one big giant high ceiling, and it's the dance area.
Oh, wow.
But that building is almost 200 years old. It's made of brick, so there's a lot of brick. It just feels like New Orleans. It's this long, narrow shotgun building. It's 3 floors now. We used to have a bed and breakfast on the 3rd floor, but the fire marshal years ago made us shut that down because it doesn't conform to today's fire code standards, and it's really, really difficult to make it. So,
one of the interesting things on the brick, the exposed brick, there was a plaster on it originally, but the plaster's so old and it's so worn that you can feel the horsehair that was in the plaster.
No way.
Oh yeah, it's got so much character. And then that 2nd floor library is just this massive wood, heavy wood paneling with these gorgeous sofas and this fireplace, and you just feel like you've been transported into some other, like, where am I?
Yeah,
is this
that was
a movie set?
So in the 60s and 70s, that was a law office. And so they had the law office, the library in there, and so we've just kept that library feel. And it really, that room is a turn on. We have a lot of artsy books and pornography and stuff like that in there for people to read. But the room is so sexy, I think. I love having sex in that
people
room.
like to play in that room.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I want to go. Books are I'm a total bookworm. So, yeah, big library is definitely hot as hell to me. So.
Well, speaking of books then, you can read Jackie's book, Swingers Lifestyle, Questions You're Afraid to Ask. And you can find that on our website at OpenLove101.com.
Well, that was a perfect segue.
Yes.
It's like he's done this before.
I know, right?
That's perfect. Everybody should go. And I think it's worth making a trip to New Orleans just to go see Colette. So, very, very cool. We'll have to take a field trip there.
Mardi Gras must be amazing there.
Mardi Gras is crazy. You know, it's I love Mardi Gras, but for the club, it's not our favorite time because you get really curious people in there. And if I may, go back to the club, because we talked about the gay bathhouses and gay bars. So gay bars, they call them cruising bars, and normally they'll have a round-shaped bar or oval-shaped bar, and one side will be up close to a wall, so the guys have to rub up against each other, so you can really, get
around the bar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we did that floor, the first floor, we gutted it completely. And we built that. We had that nightclub designed, and we put around actually oval-shaped bar, and then we put one corner of it up against the wall, so swingers have to rub up against each other. So it's kind of a cruising swingers bar. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really, really ingenious idea. I would say.
All right. Well, thank you all so much. Is there anything else that people should know about you? We're going to tell them where to find you and everything in the notes sections, and it's OpenLove101.com and ColetteClubs.com. What else do you want people to know before we say goodbye?
You should know that Jackie is an amazing woman. She's beautiful. She's so intelligent. I love her with all my heart. And if you ever want to talk to her or ask her questions, she is really great at getting down to the core of the matter. I mean, you heard her today talking. She's really, really great at helping people out.
I think I totally agree. I'm not totally in love with her, but I am totally, like I said, if I was going to be with a couple, this is the couple I would be with. They're both beautiful, handsome, nice, kind, smart. And I told you that the first time I met you, I was like, oh my God, I could just be me. And it feels so good to be with y'all. And I think you make everybody feel that way. So
I
really
hope so.
Impressive. Yeah. All right. Well, good. Well, Aaron and Tina, I hope you guys are now excited to come back to Colette's. I know that, Aaron, you're going to have to go talk your wife into it, but now you've seen it, right? It's a pretty cool place.
Yeah,
they do.
Okay, good luck with that.
Okay, well, I'll keep my fingers crossed.
I'll let you try to talk her into it.
Right, maybe we'll all come together.
I'm going to sit and watch football.
Come together. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks y'all so much. I'm Beth Darling, your sexy genius from sexyedschool.com. Please go to sexyedschool.com. And again, if you want to up those oral skills, I promise you can learn a little something no matter where you are. And go check out the classes, especially Learn to Love Oral is brand new. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Aaron. And big hugs and love to each and every one of you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.